Oh, that one there. Oh.
Scout's not here. Declan and Mrs. Marriott. What's you gonna go ahead and start? You ready?
Do we have to wait for Bob?
No. He went outside. Okay. Please, again, sorry, just waiting for the board member. Call to order the Scranton School Board meeting for April 2nd. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Borthwick?
Here.
Mr. Casey? Mrs. Chesak?
Present.
Ms. Fox?
Present.
Ms. Martin?
Present.
Ms. Merkel?
Present.
Mr. McAndrew?
Present.
Mrs. Yanni?
Present.
Mr. Holmes?
Present.
8 present, 1 absent, and Bob will be here in a minute.
Okay, now pass it to the superintendent, acting superintendent, Mr. Laffey.
Good evening, everyone. It's with a heavy heart that I deliver this next message, but the Scranton School District recently lost a beloved friend and colleague, Mr. Bill Del Preet, and I'd like to take a moment to honor his memory. Bill has been a valued member of the Scranton School District family in our IT department for over 15 years. As anyone would know in the Scranton School District would tell you that Bill's presence, his kindness, and his hard work has certainly left an impression on all those who had the privilege of knowing and working with him. As we pause to remember Bill, let us carry forward his kind spirit, commitment, and positivity. So please join me for a moment of silence as we pay tribute to our friend Bill and all that he meant to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, a recently retired long-term teacher, Pat Vespa, family lost their mother. I just wanted to convey our thoughts and prayers to Pat and his entire family. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
On the question?
On the question, I would like to make a motion to approve the board affirmation statement for the position vacancy of acting superintendent effective April 8th, 2024.
Second.
On the question? Yeah, on the question?
That'll be under the personnel
Yes.
section, yeah.
Roll call.
Pardon me,
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Could we please remove G1 from the consent agenda? Thank you.
I have a motion to approve the amended agenda.
So moved. Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Mrs. Chesak?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Merkel?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mrs. Yanni?
Yes.
Mr. Borthwick?
Yes.
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
9 affirmative.
Communications to the board and board executive sessions were held on,
No, that's
That's
okay.
yours.
You could finish. I just want to make sure I don't miss any.
on March 25th, 2024, and this evening to discuss personnel, litigation, real estate, and negotiations and safety.
Were there any more?
I believe we did have one on March 11th.
March 11th?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Confirm that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Solicitors report.
Just briefly, Director Holmes, you had asked our office to provide some guidance regarding a question, rendering an opinion regarding an ethical question. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes. So I was invited to attend an advocacy on a hill in Washington, D.C. with a lobbying firm that is advocating for playgrounds for schools, Scranton School Districts, and also parks. They were paying for the hotel and transportation, so to ensure that I was not going to be violating any rules, I consulted with the law firm and requested something be put in writing to ensure that this was legal, this was okay and covered, so that it would not become an ethical issue at a later date.
And so my office has reviewed this matter and has penned a opinion letter as of this date, April 2nd, 2024, that under the Public Official and Employee Ethics Act, that we see no private pecuniary gain, and absent a private pecuniary benefit to you or your family, it's our opinion as the district solicitor that reimbursement of some of the expenses you will incur does not constitute a conflict of interest under the ethics law. The full language of this opinion can be added to, Ms. Orr, can be added to the minutes for tonight's meeting.
Acting Superintendent's report.
Yes, good evening. Just a few updates from around the district. The West Scranton High School play is this weekend, is starting this weekend. The play is entitled Puff's 7 Increasingly Eventful Years at a Certain School of Magic and Magic. Showtimes are Friday and Saturday night at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m. Also at West Scranton High School, the spring concert is set for April 17th. As well, the West Scranton High School Community Service Club and National Art Honor Society paired up with Neighborhood Works to clean the neighborhood around West Scranton High School on March 27, 2024. Also, the Pride team held a family feud event for students on March 27th, which turned out to be an awesome night and a lot of fun for the students. At Scranton High School, 2 Scranton High School STEM students, Joey Benall and Max Hoffner, recently competed at the Johnson College 3D Design Challenge. This was the SSD's first time having students entered into this competition. While they didn't win, they are excited to try again for next year, and the STEM Academy is looking to expand our participation in the annual event. This is a reminder that on April 8th, 2024, the district will be conducting an early dismissal due to the upcoming solar eclipse. Elementary school and high school students will dismiss at 10:50 and middle school students at 11:30. The eclipse will begin around 2 p.m. and may overlap with our dismissal time. PDE has released guidance that an early dismissal for safety purposes would count as a full day of instruction, so the district will not lose any instructional time. This early dismissal will also allow the staff the opportunity to work remotely while we work through some of our network issues that we've been experiencing. Just a reminder that at the end of the third quarter is coming on April 9th, 2024. And again, due to some of these network issues, we have extended the due dates for grades until April 16th, 2024. The district's guidance K through 12 advisory council meeting will be taking place on April 10th, 2024. ACT testing will be held at Scranton High School on April 13th at 8 a.m. and PSSA testing begins on April 22nd, 2024. And also for staff, the 5th professional development day is scheduled for April 23rd, 2024. And finally, on a personal note, I'd like to thank the Scranton School Board of Directors for the opportunity and support to serve as the acting superintendent for the last few months. It's been a fulfilling and enjoyable experience. I'd also like to thank all the central administrative team, the Scranton Federation of Teachers and paraprofessionals, and the 32 BJ maintenance and support staff for the support you've given me over this time. And lastly, we're excited to have Dr. Keating joining us next week as the district superintendent. And we look forward to working with her as we can continue to move Scranton School District forward in a positive way. Thank you.
And Pat, I'd like to take a moment to thank you on behalf of the Scranton School Board, Scranton School District. You stepped into big shoes. As a person that does not come from a teaching and educational background, you stepped in without hesitation, and you have navigated us through some of the most challenging times this district has faced in years, and you did it seamlessly, like without hesitation. I want to thank you for your professionalism, your guidance, your transparency, your hard work, and just your focus to ensuring that we continue to educate our children, keep them safe, and keep this district moving forward. You have done this with class, style, and grace that, again, none of us could have expected, not saying that negatively, but the way that you've handled yourself is nothing short of just remarkable, and it's a testament to your professionalism. And again, I am truly honored and blessed that you are the person that we put in this position, because God only knows where we would have been without you.
Well, thank you. It's been an honor.
Okay, can I just add, I know we're doing a lot of things with students and positive things they're doing. I was involved with the river cleanup over the last 2 weekends, and there was one student from West, his name was Arthur Garcia. showed up every day, every morning at 8:30 in the rain, in the cold. So I just thought that was awesome to see one of our students helping out and, you know, helping clean up. So I just want to give him a little shout out, and such a great kid. So thanks.
Thank you. Dr. Saylor?
I was going to thank Mr. Laffey for the great job he's done, but I can't say it as eloquently as you did, Director Holmes, so we'll just let it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Now to the best part of the meeting. We have the student representatives. Cecilia, Emilion, and Declan. I love that name. Hi, Declan.
Hi. Good evening. March was a very successful month here at Scranton High. Last weekend, the first edition show choir competed in Virginia before heading down to Florida and visiting Disney World as well as Universal Studios. They had a great time. Spring sports have begun successfully. The boys track team won their first meet over North Pocono, and the baseball team is currently undefeated. Scranton High hosted the Harlem Wizards game on behalf of the Boys Basketball Booster Club. The tickets were sold out, and the night was a roaring success. Thank you to all teachers and principals across the district that participated in the game. 10 sophomore students applied to participate in Leadership Lackawanna's Tomorrow's Leaders Today program. During this 7-month program, students are exposed to various career opportunities through hands-on learning experiences. Good luck to all applicants. Penn State Accepted Student Day is on this Thursday, April 4th. All accepted students will meet with the Nittany Lion and receive a box of Penn State goodies. Freshman Semi will be this Friday, April 5th at the Hilton downtown. Scranton's annual play, Peter Wendy, will be held in this auditorium from April 12th to the 14th. On April 12th and 13th, the shows will be at 7 p.m. And on April 14th, the show will be at 2 p.m. Tickets will be $10 at the door. Take Your Child to Work Day will be held on April 26th. The Future Readiness Center continues to update its list of scholarship opportunities for seniors. The most recent scholarship is the Aramark Edification Scholarship for high school students. Students can apply in the Future Readiness Center, and 14 will be awarded with $500. The SATs were successfully hosted at Scranton High during March and will be held here again on May 4th and June 1st. Also in May, 178 Scranton High students are taking AP tests. Good luck to all. Overall, March was a successful month in the district, and April is looking to follow. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. Unfortunately, I'm unable to report on other schools besides West Scranton High School due to the technology issues. However, many exciting things are happening at West. In the beginning of March, members of the ski club went to Killington, Vermont for 3 fun-filled days of skiing. Spring sports officially started on March 4th. The boys volleyball, boys tennis, softball, baseball, and track and field teams are all in action. This year, West added a unified track team. Our first meet is on April 10th. On March 27th, School-wide Positive Behavior Pride Team hosted a Family Feud game fundraiser. 8 teams competed and students paid to watch. A fun time was had by all who participated. The Drama Club will be presenting Puffs, or 7 increasingly eventful events at the School of Magic, and magic performances will take place Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m. Come out to see this wonderful show. On April 12th, the Red Cross Club will host its second blood drive of the school year. This event will save hundreds of lives. Spirit Week will take place April 15th to the 19th. Mr. Bressler will take a group of students to Boston during the first weekend of May, and I will be sure to report back with more exciting events next month. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, I do want to mention that 2 of our own, Mr. Wolf and Mr. Lafley, did play in that game. I heard one of you had a dunk. Is that true? Thank you. Take care. Sorry about that. Now we have the PSBA report.
Yes, also due to our tech issue, I don't have access to the emails I received from PSBA as the liaison, so I'm going to pass this over to Director Gilmartin for the information she has in her role at PSBA.
Thank you very much. I do have a few brief updates from my PSBA. You may have noticed that there have been some changes to the PSBA public-facing website, and the member access website, My PSBA, is undergoing similar changes at this point. There's a lot of great information on there. I believe Mr. Gentileza drew our attention via email to an available training on a relevant topic, so please look out for that. I think the registration closes this evening, but there are several items on the landing page here. Kalahari Resorts and Convention will be the site for the PSBA and PASA conference, October 6th through 8th this year. And they are looking not only for presenters, but also performers. And as we all know, we have a lot of talented students here in our district. So if there are groups that would consider throwing their hat into, their name in for contention, that information is available here as well. There is, I believe Director Yanni drew our attention to the school leadership bulletin that was released a few weeks ago. Advocacy Day is actually coming up on Monday. I'm sure registration remains open for that. And also, as a sectional advisor, we've been talking a bit about the platform committee, and I'm going to try to switch back to that email, because Ginny and I often talk about this with our timing. And the spring, I apologize, I'm trying to open this. Sorry. Well, now I can't find it, so I'm going to go from memory and hope for the best. But this spring is the time that we have the opportunity to submit items for the platform committee for review and consideration. That process, I think, began yesterday, actually, and we have a few months to consider that. So if there are any items, take a moment to review on the PSBA website the current platform committee. We can certainly support something, an item that is there to continue as a topic for advocacy for PSBA. We can raise a new issue. We can partner with other boards regionally to bring an issue to light. We just have to do it by resolution and board action if we so choose. And then I think it's in May that we have to think about appointing our delegates to the platform committee for that meeting in the fall. And we always remember that right around the time of the deadline, so maybe this conversation will keep it top of mind. So thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, the board welcomes public comment. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. Union presidents will be allowed 4 minutes. So at first, we have Amanda Van Bursker. I always get you, I butcher your name.
You're okay.
Just put Amanda with stars after it and I'll know it's you.
Okay, good evening, guys. Superintendent, acting superintendent, and our new superintendent, of course, and our board members. As you did hear, West Scranton High School is doing PUFs, and I'm here to promote it, and we would love to have all of the board members, including acting superintendent and our new superintendent, come out all 3 days, possibly one of the 3 days, to come and see our students perform. They have been working enormously hard at the school until 9:30 p.m. getting their show ready for opening night. And it's $10 at the door, and yours truly will be there all 3 days selling their tickets for these students. And I would like to thank Mr. Laffey for doing a silent honor of Mr. Bill. It was a pleasure to work with him as a student here at Scranton High. I got to know him when I was in the drama club department, and he was our pit crew, and it was wonderful. He was a wonderful man, so thank you. And that's it.
Thank you. Amy Fiducia?
Fiduchek?
I am bad with names. I apologize if I butchered your name.
Please forgive me, I'm nervous, don't want to cry. Your district is very much about if you see something, say something. I specifically, as a parent with 2 children in this district and also of this member of this community, have every single right legally to come to you and express my thoughts and concerns about anything that makes my children or myself uncomfortable that has ties to your schools, correct? Correct. January 29th, I contacted you all and voiced my concerns. They were not just my concerns, but the concerns of my children, and many other children in your district, along with parents and members of our community. I didn't contact these people. I did the right thing and I handed everything over to you. What you did with my concerns, whether it be investigated to the fullest or whatever not, I handed you over my concerns and that was that. Since that day, I need you to fully understand the bullying, the intimidation, the harassment my family has had to endure by the people you employ and allow to volunteer in your schools. For example, I have been contacted by the police. I have been sent a disgusting cease and desist letter filled with lies about a fake Snapchat account and deflection, but also, again, straight intimidation tactics. And also my son now has a target on his back in school since it has all started. The most recent was last night. Tracy Baumgartner and her daughter Morgan called me 4 times harassing me and my 13-year-old son about a fake Snapchat account. As a mother, as a teacher, as an adult, she should know better. I have never once received any phone calls or texts asking for Tracy on my phone until last night when Tracy and her daughter called me. I requested all of my data from Snap again last night, and I have it, and if you or law enforcement would like to review it, not a problem, because they give you a complete digital footprint proving these allegations are false and only intimidation tactics. Now this teacher is in my child's school and calling me, harassing me and my son because I chose to voice my concerns about something that made us all uncomfortable. And I'm supposed to feel safe sending my son to school? I don't, not at all, and something needs to be done. Mind you, I've never once reached out to these people in any way, shape, or form. I contacted all of you with my concerns in hopes you would find a positive resolution for all. A public apology and accountability would have been great, saying, I'm sorry, we didn't mean for it to come off like that, but we didn't get that. Considering the majority of children in your district are black and brown, and when these children had to wake up that day and see a bunch of white individuals and the butt of their joke was a black man's face on a cake, it was posted publicly on social media for the world to see and laugh at. Is it illegal to be racist? Unfortunately, no. But as a parent to biracial children and with many black and brown friends and family in our community, we were all hurt and disgusted by what we saw. Empathy is key here, and I'm guessing many people do not understand what that word means anymore. How can parents feel safe sending their kids to your school if we can't even address our concerns without retaliation?
Thank you for your comments.
Holly Mead.
Hi, Holly Mead, Scranton High School. I heard yesterday that our longtime district employee, Bill Dupree, passed away. Bill was a true gentleman and always put our students first when he was working on projects. My special education students had unique technology needs. Bill was just a phone call away and always willing to help us and find the best way to implement whatever our students needed. He brought his kindness, humor, and caring way to every meeting. His loss is felt throughout the district. We are all praying for his family and his friends, and thank you, Bill, for being one of the good guys, the best of the best. We will miss you. I would like to congratulate the board on choosing Erin Keating as our superintendent. Mrs. Keating is an outstanding educator and is thoroughly prepared for this position. For the first time, I see a leader who can bring the school board, administration, 32 BJs, and the SFT all together. That is no easy feat. But when someone approaches situations from a student-first perspective, it can be accomplished. It is refreshing to have a leader who is laser-focused on education, moving our district forward, and professionally developing our staff to meet these goals. It will not be easy, and everyone will not always agree, but I have faith in Mrs. Keating's excellent negotiating skills and her ability to bring an overriding calm to any situation. Leading with data and information and kindness will serve her well in Scranton. After her appointment was announced, the rumor mill was running high. Again, for the first time, everyone was pleased with the board decision. From paras, maintenance, teachers, administrators, and students were excited to have her lead the Scranton School District. So welcome, Mrs. Keating. I have no doubt you'll be doing an amazing job and make us all proud. Congratulations.
Thank you.
to the Special Olympics on April 10th. I would love for you guys all to come. It should be awesome. It's here. And to our new teachers, our assistant coaches, I'm so proud of them for stepping up and being brand new their first year. Sorry.
Ms. Mead, did you share this with Sydney? If not, could you please do that?
I think the coaches are. Yeah, I think the coaches already did. I just like a little paper to give people.
Okay.
Yeah, but thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cephas.
Good evening. Rick Cephas, President of the NAACP for Lackawanna County. Students deserve affirming and safe school environments that celebrate them for who they are and provide robust opportunities to learn. Schools have a legal obligation to ensure that students are not denied opportunities, treated differently, discriminated against, or harassed because of their race, color, or national origin. Schools must have policies and procedures to prevent and address bullying and harassment based on race and must ensure equal opportunities for students of color. That is the first paragraph of the right to be free from racism at school. It was drafted August 2022. I am still getting complaints about students being called the N-word, being called a monkey, and it's not just Scranton School District that I get these complaints from. My question to this school board is, what is your policy in response to that? In other words, we already know if a student responds to that, and we kind of know what the response is going to be, that child usually gets suspended. But what about the child that did the offending? What is the policy there? Where does the school take a stance at and say and punish that individual? And I'm not just saying students, I'm looking at teachers and other employees as well. Our students deserve a place where they can come in and feel that they can trust their teacher and they can feel that the school district is behind them in the event of something like that ever happens to them. What is the school's policy on that? I looked through the handbook and I couldn't see it. If it's there, please let me know. If not, I think that might be something the board may need to take a closer look at and having added to the student handbook. That's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you for your time.
Do we have a... Okay. Mr. Rucker.
Sorry to write this down. Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to honor a remarkable individual, Mr. Bill Delpreet. Bill wasn't just the heart of our IT team, he was a beacon of kindness, a mentor, and a friend who touched the lives of everyone he met within our school district. From the moment you met Bill, you knew you'd found a genuine friend. His dedication went beyond his job responsibilities. He cared deeply about the people around him, making each challenge we face a little easier to bear. Bill was a person we all aspired to be, compassionate, dedicated, and profoundly kind. To Bill's family and loved ones, I want to convey my deepest condolences and share a simple truth. To work with Bill was an honor, but to know him was a privilege far beyond words. He left an indelible mark on our hearts and our community, shaping us to be better colleagues, friends, and human beings. Bill taught us that compassion is not a limited resource, but a guiding principle. He lived by the belief that kindness and support should be extended to everyone, a lesson that we will carry forward in his memory. Bill's legacy is not measured by the projects he completed or the problems he solved, but by the countless lives he enriched. He was a bright spot in our district, embodying the very best of what we can all hope to be. As we remember Bill, let's honor him by embracing the values he held dear. Let's treat each other with the same warmth, respect, and unwavering support he showed us. While we mourn his passing, we'll also celebrate the incredible impact he had on all of us. Bill was truly one of a kind. He was one of my favorite people, and his absence will be deeply felt. In his memory, let us commit to being a source of light and kindness in each other's lives, just as Bill was in ours. Thank you, Bill, for the laughter, the guidance, and the friendship. You'll be profoundly missed but never forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rutger. That was very meaningful. I just want to share a quick story about Mr. Delpre. I really didn't know him well myself, but both of my sons worked with him when they had the summer programs in IT. And my younger son had no idea about how to do anything electronic. And Bill was so patient with him. And his phone went off, and he had the Doctor Who ringtone on his phone. So right there, both of my kids, who are both still into Doctor Who, they formed a bond with him because of that. So he was also a teacher in addition to his work here in education. He taught them so much, and they really enjoyed learning from him and spending time with him. So I think every time they watched Doctor Who, they mentioned something that was in their discussion with Bill. So he was just as everything that everybody said, he was, and more. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cephas, in regards to, do we have a policy? We do. It's 103. And what we will do is make sure that we work to make sure it's integrated in schools and communicated down to the leaders to ensure that they are holding people accountable for their behavior, obviously. This policy has been in effect for a while, but we just need to make sure everybody reads it, understands it, and it is enforced.
And it does, I echo that, and there's a reporting mechanism for instances when these do occur, and we'll ensure that the staff is educated on it, the students are through the handbook, make sure that it's incorporated in reference as necessary. Thank you.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
On the question? Roll call.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Merkel?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mrs. Yanni?
Yes.
Mr. Borthwick?
Yes.
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mrs. Chesak?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
9 affirmative.
Non-consent agenda items. Motion to approve sales of the delinquent tax exempt.
Agenda item B8, we will have a motion to approve the sale of the 2023 delinquent taxes to municipal revenue services per the attached resolution. The financial impact is $3,701,537.94 with fees not to exceed $250,000.
Second?
On the question?
I have a question, Mr. Holmes. Excuse me. I know that in the past, the Scranton School District contracted with companies to go after out-of-town companies that would come into the city, and they're supposed to pay taxes, and they come in and they leave, they take the money, and basically nobody goes after them for taxes. What I'd like this board to do, because I found that there's about 3 or 4 different companies alone in Pennsylvania that performs this type of work. I'd like for the next meeting, if Ms. Gilmartin, under Budget and Finance, if you could put a request for proposals for this type of work. I believe that the district had a company once before, and it proved to be very financially beneficial. And we're halfway, we're pretty much into our budget year, and all this is money just sitting out there, and I'd like for the district to move on it as quick as possible. Thank you.
I would be happy at our next Budget and Finance Committee meeting to review the approaches we are currently taking to deal with this matter. I think you may not be completely aware of some arrangements with the city and some work with the single tax office. So certainly we can pursue these options, but I think we should review where we stand before we take that step.
No, I'm familiar with where we're at on this. I just know that Usually in the month of November and December, we're all running around looking for money. I think this would be a good step, and I know that a couple years ago, the district, through the company that they maintained, was, they went out and they got us $600,000. And I'm sure that all the taxpayers would welcome $600,000, and any additional steps that were presently taken, that would only be an add-on. As we all know, that we go around looking for as much money as we can, and I think we should exercise every avenue that we possibly can. And if you feel that under budget and finance that you don't want to propose this,
No, I believe she's stating that this is a conversation we need to have at a Budget and Finance Committee meeting and not at actually the public voting meeting. I don't think it's an appropriate conversation at this time.
Yes, and I'll be happy to add it to our next agenda. If not, pardon me, I shouldn't say our next agenda. I know we have an agenda begun for April 22nd. If we are able to add it at that time, as I know we have some guests participating in that meeting, we certainly will, and if not, we will do it at the next month.
okay, I stated my case. Thank you.
Roll call?
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Merkel?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mrs. Gianni?
Yes.
Mr. Borthwick?
Yes.
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mrs. Chesak?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
9 affirmative.
Education?
Excuse me. A motion to approve the Scranton School District joining a consortium with Riverside School District and Lackawanna Trail School District in order to apply for the school-based mental health services grant through the Office of Elementary and Secondary Education. The Scranton School District will allocate this federal funding to hire an additional BCBA, behavioral consultant, behavior analysis, and a licensed professional counselor, licensed social worker.
Second.
On the question?
With this grant, is it required that we partner with other school districts, or would we be able to go solo and possibly get more?
I'd like to refer this to Ms. Hemphill.
Yeah, or Dr. Keening, yeah.
So these grants, you do better in consortiums. So if you look at the particular group that was put together there, you have Riverside, which is a small suburban school district. You have us, who fits under large urban, and then you have Trail, which fits under rural. So we become much more competitive in that consortium-based grant because we're representing the different geographical entities of our area than if we tried to apply just by ourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I just thought of a question as I'm reviewing this. There's no issues with the CBA, right, with fulfilling these positions through a grant?
No, you would be able to hire as you've done with the other social workers.
Okay.
This is contracted 5 years. The district does have to build, this would be 5 years that it would be funded. We would have to build sustainability into our budget upon the conclusion of that for the positions.
Okay, thank you.
Roll call?
Ms. Merkel?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mrs. Gianni?
Yes.
Mr. Borthwick?
Yes.
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mrs. Chesak?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
9 affirmative.
Policy?
Okay, so under policy, we have a motion to approve second read policy 903, public comment in board meetings.
On the question?
On the question, I'm going to make a comment and then ask a question. But I was trying to ascertain the changes that had been recommended by PSBA versus what had been suggested at last month's meeting. And as I was reviewing it this afternoon, I noticed that the time limit for public comment did not reflect the union officials or union presidents, I think, as they're stated. And when I went to make sure my memory was correct, there are actually two versions of policy 903 on board docs, one that includes it and one that does not. So I would just ask if we could table this and either review it at an upcoming meeting or get a memo to just clarify those changes and review what came through from PSBA and what was reviewed at last month's meeting. So that's my lengthy motion to table.
So, I'll second that, to table.
Roll call.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mrs. Yanni?
Yes.
Mr. Borthwick?
No.
Mr. Casey?
No.
Mrs. Chesak?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Gilmartin?
Yes.
Ms. Merkel?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
7 affirmative, 2 negative, motion passes.
Operations.
We have a motion to approve a 3-year quote for Sentinel One EDR solution through NEIU 19. The financial impact is year 1, $24,450. Year 2, $24,900. Year 3, $24,900. Respectfully submitted. Go ahead, sorry.
Second.
And Pat, I just want to toss that over to you.
Yes, so the price quoted are, it's a unit cost, and we've quoted for approximately 1,000 units. That may fluctuate above or beyond. Obviously, we don't know exactly how many units we have. Would it be possible to amend the language slightly to say, the board authorizes the administration to amend the financial impact, but at the per unit price in the quote? I guess what I'm afraid of is if it turns out to be 1,100 devices, that I'm locked into only spending $24,000. But what I'm doing is I'm spending $24 per device, basically.
Can we say up
I
to?
was about to say up to, can we just go ahead and amend it to that?
What would be I'm sorry.
What is a good number?
I think you'd probably, Rob, any impact?
I mean, again, if
Approximately.
you go higher than you need, obviously, with the expectations you'll be lower.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be lower, but like if it's 27.5, would that be
The price there was,
1,000 units, right?
what the original quote that I received that I presented at the last board meeting was 800 units. What we've received
This
through
is
our-
1,000 though.
Yeah, what we've received through our insurance is 1,000, so we're looking to match that currently. But if, as Mr. Laffey states, if something happens and we come in, it's 1,001 devices, we've went past that financial approval. So we're looking to get,
So how
some
about we
leeway on
change it to the approximate impact, but the administration has the ability to procure additional license at the quoted amounts as necessary?
Okay, say that one more time, and he needs to write
Yeah.
that down.
Yep. So we'll change it to the financial impact is an approximate financial impact, but the administration has the ability to add more licenses as necessary at the quoted price.
And the quarter price you said was $24 a unit?
Yeah,
Or a license, I should say.
It's 23, it's listed on the quote.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I'll say it's approximate, the approximate financial impact, and then we authorize the admin. All right, I'll do my best. All right, so motion to approve a 3-year quote for Sentinel One EDR solution through NEIU 19. The approximate financial impact will be determined will be authorized by admin to be no more than $24 per license. Does that work?
I think a better way of doing that, because that is a cooperative purchasing through the state, if we just state that it not to exceed what the approved cooperative purchasing price is.
Okay.
That might be a better
So
way
the
of stating
approximate
it.
financial impact will not exceed the cooperative
The
purchasing rate.
state-approved cooperative purchasing rate.
Yep, there you go. All right. Now respectfully submitted.
There you go.
Second.
On the question?
On the question, so I am voting yes to this. I feel like it's very important right now to have this. I've been doing a lot of research on just cybersecurity in general, EDRs and everything. While I do feel we are a little bit late to the game with this, it is one piece of a puzzle, I feel. I guess before, going forward with this, I'd like to know, how does this fit into like our response plan that we have, if we have a response plan? And like, are these, the protocols that we have in place, are they like reevaluated like on a regular basis? And have we considered something like on a wider scale as far as like district-wide training? Like I said, I feel like this is one piece of the puzzle right now, and I want to see how it fits into the bigger picture.
Tell me.
It's a great question. I know it's something that Mr. Laffey and I were beginning to work on when we developed the budget for this year. There are other solutions that we're going to be bringing forward to you that would incorporate all of that. I don't have that with me or ability to speak to it right now, but it is something we are working on.
And Director Chesak, I would add, obviously, this, in addition to it being on our devices, locking down devices if we have suspicious activity, it also provides around-the-clock third-party monitoring. So it doesn't just, turn off at 4 o'clock when the school closes. Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call?
This is to approve as amended, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Borthwick?
Yes.
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mrs. Chesak?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Goodmartin?
Yes.
Ms. Merkel?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mrs. Gianni?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
9 affirmative.
Have a motion to approve project budget for exterior door replacements, project number 033000, as previously provided for board review. The financial impact is approximately $3,749,000, $3,749,765, respectfully submitted.
Second.
On question?
I'll just add, as mentioned at the work session, this is the amended budget. We previously approved the draft budget. The biggest significant change are secure vestibules at West Scranton High School, Northeast Intermediate, and South Intermediate, which will be bid as alternates and can be awarded either in its entirety or on an individual basis, depending on how the bids turn out.
Now, was this the second time that this was bid?
It hasn't been bid yet. We approved a draft budget back in, I believe, March, and now it's been finalized as additional work has gone around, as we've done our assessments. Again, the total price has increased due to the add of the secure vestibule entrances, but again, there'll be alternates, and the authorizing this tonight will allow us to begin the design and bid process.
Okay, Pat, at the last meeting, I asked for the language to be put in to all bids, that the board reserves the right to waive any technicalities in the bid that are in our favor. Could you make sure that this is added to the bid spec?
We certainly will, and I believe there most likely probably is some language in there, but we will confirm that.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mrs. Chesak?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Goodmartin?
Yes.
Ms. Merkel?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mrs. Gianni?
Yes.
Mr. Borthwick?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
9 affirmative.
I have a motion to approve a change order ECCO 004 for project number 033029, West Scranton Intermediate renovations to the electrical contract for costs associated with providing a new emergency generator. The financial impact is $283,619.95, respectfully submitted.
Second.
On the question?
Yes, Mr. Rucker, how long has this generator been down?
I'm unsure of how long the generator was down. When they went to look at it, it was reported that it had a broken crank and there was oil leaking out of it. So I'm unsure of the exact timeline as to how long it had been broken.
You don't have a rough,
previously.
not even a rough estimate?
It could be a year.
Okay, 'cause one of the emails that was provided to us indicated that it could be, that it sounded like it might have been approximately 3 years.
Okay, I'd have to go back and look.
So, the reason I'm concerned is if we're bringing this up now, we've just not had a generator for possibly 3 years?
If that's true, that is the case.
Okay.
We've had a rental generator that
The
we
whole time?
approved. No, that we approved July or August maybe of 2013. We've been operating with the rental unit This would be to provide a full replacement.
And how much is the rental? Yeah, who knows?
I think it was, Ethan, was it
Ethan, do you know how much the rental, for the rental generator is?
2,000 maybe?
Yeah, it's roughly 50-some thousand. 50 something
Year?
is coming to my mind. Yeah.
No, for, how, was that for a full year or was that for 1 year?
So, Ethan, I believe last time, at the work session, you had mentioned that this particular generator is gonna be significantly more powerful than the one it's replacing?
Yeah, that's correct. It's picking up a lot of additional life safety circuitry. It's also picking up security systems throughout the building, and it's also providing emergency heating.
So in that interim period, before the July edition of the generator, how many power incidents, are you aware, Mr. Rucker, of any power incidents that were affected by our lack of a generator for that period of time?
Off the top of my head, whenever power would go out in West Side, which honestly is fairly rare, it's not something that occurs often. I'm pleased to say that. I can't quantify a number to it, but it is minimal.
Thank you.
Do we have these generators throughout the district inspected on a regular basis?
Yes.
Do we have service contracts on them?
Yes. Now this one here, if that, I'll have to go back and look, because if it broke 3 years ago, that was prior to my tenure, and it might have been dropped off prior to me joining the district. I know that the one at South is inspected. There is one right in the parking lot there. I can get that information over to you.
No, I'm just wondering that if we have service contracts on it, why wouldn't we know that it was unavailable before?
It's a good question. I'll look into it.
Before this year.
Yeah, it's a good.
And more important is, if we're paying for a service contract and they're not performing, maybe we better look into that.
I will look into it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Also for me, and Rob, you'll understand this, I'd like you guys, if possible, to create a calendar. It's called 30, 60, 90. You're familiar with that. So that we don't get things like this. If it's been down at least since July, we know. Okay, again, the 30, 90, 60-day calendar. That way you create a document, you put it in the file so that we are aware that this is coming up. This is something, so it doesn't have to read new emergency generator. This is something we're planning for, we're aware of, we as the board, and that also gives us the opportunity to ask questions in advance, so we don't have to do it at this platform and get the answers and be able to flow through the meeting. But I think if everyone looks at that approach with a 30, 60, 90 days, and I understand emergencies are emergencies, they're gonna come up. But when we're talking about projects, especially something that's gonna cost us much, that we foresee, the sooner we can get that into documentation, into a board packet that we can see, I think the better it will be just going forward.
I agree with you, and I know Dewey presented the feasibility study, which captured a lot of that, and we'll take the information provided out of that feasibility study and create those long-term capital expenditures that we see coming up as generators, roofs, whatever other things that we need replaced.
Thank you.
No problem.
Rob, the company that we have a service contract on with our generators, who are they?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. I would have to go in and look.
Can you give me a copy of their contract?
I will look. Yes, I will get that for you.
Did we get a price from them to be able to install this?
No. Not that I'm aware of. I believe this went right to the EC.
So the EC was tasked with providing a price to provide a replacement generator under
Who was?
the electrical contractor for the project.
I'm just thinking that if we have a service contract with a company that services and installs and sells these, we may get a better price than from an electrical contractor that's only passing on their profit to us.
The change order amount, I believe, is $263,000, which at that point requires public bidding for that magnitude of cost.
Okay,
in
but
this case,
it's been down for 6 months, and right now, it's like what I've been saying all the other meetings. To me, this sounds like it may be legal, but it sounds like it's circumventing the bidding process. Maybe you may want to call whoever we have our service contract with and ask them for a price, and then we'll know whether or not we're getting a good price or not. We waited, what, 6 months already?
Well,
Didn't we have one going? I'm confused now.
So we
had
have-
a generator, correct?
we have a temporary generator in place on a monthly rental fee. That rental period lease expires in September of this year.
Right, so we did have a generator working?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, okay, that was my concern. Mr. Berthwick, did I miss an email? What email were you referring to?
This is the board packet.
Okay, and that said it was down for 3 years?
3 years.
It says approximately 3 years as of
Okay.
July.
And did that include the time that we had the temporary, the service contracted generator?
That's been since July.
I believe that was us initiating the need for a temporary generator when it was discovered that it was down.
Okay, so it was down, and then we brought in the temporary, that was brought to the board's attention. And now we're looking to purchase our own, right? Just so I'm understanding
Correct,
this.
correct.
Not that I
Yeah, and
understand
I-
much about generators, but, okay,
And I would have to go back and look for this email.
okay, okay,
I'm not remembering off the top of my head.
It'll be easy to find because it was in our packet. I just actually had assumed.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a memorandum, again, because we have forwarded to, that I prepared. It was forwarded to insurance. A claim has been initiated to determine if there will be any coverage for this. That's to be determined. But some of the items submitted to substantiate the claim were documentation that we had from when we realized that this generator had failed permanently.
Okay.
Mr. Rucker, who is the company that we're renting the generator from?
Joyce.
It's rented through the contractor, Joyce Electric.
Do we look for bids at all, or do we just give it to the normal contractor?
This was priced as a change order.
Well, did we have to do it from a change order?
No, you could hire an engineer to design it and bid it and receive bids publicly for a generator.
Yeah,
Submit for permits with the town, with the city, and proceed accordingly.
Yeah, at this price point, getting one more quote, even 2 more quotes, wouldn't satisfy any of the procurement requirements. You're over the $22,000 mark at this point, but operating as a change order does allow us to move forward and comply with procurement laws. I would, defer to, Solicitor Huerta to confirm that.
Well, just because we're complying with procurement standards doesn't mean we're getting the best price. It's been down since last year, and you had plenty of time to go out and get it designed and put it out for bid, instead of giving it to this board at the last moment. Now, I understand that a bunch of us are new on the board, but I think as far as purchasing goes, this is very irresponsible.
And the insurance, we don't know yet what their response is going to be in case we can find coverage. And also, we're covered until September. Why not wait until we get an answer back before we commit to spending this kind of money? And to Director Casey's point, why not bid it out to see if we can get a better price?
We could always go back to the change order.
Yeah, we have the time and the insurance question.
And I guess my question would be like, what makes it, like in the motion, an emergency generator right now, since it's been down 3 years, we have the rental, until September, so I'm just curious, like, why it's like urgent right now?
If the board were to decide to have this project designed, bid, and permitted, we would be it would be necessary to extend the lease period for the generator that's there.
That would not, if this fails or is tabled, we wouldn't be able to get a generator in by September, even if we follow that process.
No, not with the design and bid, advertisement period, and lead time on a generator. It just wouldn't happen.
Well, don't we already have the design?
You do already have the design.
So why would we have to get a new one?
You don't have to get a new generator.
No, a new design. Go out and bid the specs on this one.
You could take the design, but what I'm saying is you still need to advertise.
Well, I agree with you.
And you need a public bidding period.
I agree with
And
you.
you need to hit a board meeting where you guys approve it and
I
then
agree.
get permits from the city. That takes That takes some time.
All right, with
You know,
that said,
it-
let's
it
make a
real-
motion to table this so that we can have an opportunity for you guys to take a look at us and provide better answers to the board.
So I think it has to be understood, though, that if a table, and I defer to Ethan to help me with this, the table would necessitate or trigger an extension of our current lease, it sounds like.
Right,
Can
and
I
how
add
much are
some-
we paying?
Rob, I was going to clarify that
May I
as well. Thank you very much.
May I add some clarification to this? It is called the emergency generator. It is not an emergency generator order. It is the emergency generator for when the power drops and it is on and in an emergency. It's the emergency generator. Just want to clarify that.
You're
It's
not bringing this to us as an emergency.
It's not
Right.
as an
Right.
emergency. It is the emergency generator.
Well, it is being presented as something that we must do tonight, or this is going to necessitate the extension of the lease. The thing is, I have a hard time believing that we can't take the existing design and have bids back within 2 months and get this installed by September. That process cannot take, if that's the case, then this whole system is completely and utterly inefficient. But that's the thing. So if we wanted to do this, what you're saying then is you gave it to us at the last possible minute, again. And I don't think that's fair to us as a board, because we have to make responsible financial decisions. I think this is worth tabling. I'll make that motion to table.
I'll second it.
Just on the question real quick, if we have to extend the lease or rental, is it like, can we do it by month? Does it have to be 6 months, a year? Like, do we know what the terms would have to be? Like,
Yeah, it can be extended by month.
so it could be monthly? Okay.
Yes.
Pat just said, what are you, about $5,000 a month?
I mean,
Around.
We paid 52 for a year.
I think it's
I'm
worth,
sorry?
It was 52,000 for a year.
For the year? Yeah,
and
okay.
at the end of the day, it's worth taking time, make sure that we answer all the questions. So let's just go ahead. Any more on the question? No, we're motioning to table this, so that is the motion that's currently on the floor.
I do have one question, going back to the question I asked before. I asked who the company was who presently has the service agreement. Could you get that for me by the end of the week, along with all maintenance records for this particular generator
I will do my best.
in writing?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Mrs. Chesak?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
No.
Ms. Merkel?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mrs. Johnny?
No.
Mr. Borthwick?
Yes.
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
7 affirmative, 2 negative, motion passes.
Next up, we have a motion to authorize district superintendent to procure Memorial Stadium scoreboard and sound system per the attached resolution. The financial impact is not to exceed $439,000, excluding any annual software licenses or applicable permits and fees. Respectfully submitted.
Second.
On the question?
Yeah, and I don't have my Chromebook in front of me to pull up the data that we received, but I just want to make sure I understand this. The financial impact of this is $439,000, and this is just for the stadium scoreboard and the sound system, per the attached resolution. Okay, I don't have that here. But my concern is, at the work session, we talked about the field and the safety of the field. And we did receive information saying that it's gonna be $2 million, approximately $2 million for us to make the turf safer for our athletes. And then we also received information that included the scoreboard, the sound system, and everything else that goes along with that, and that was $2 million. So I need to understand how this $439,000 fits into $2 million. I'm kind of feeling like this was thrown at us. I don't know how we spend $439,000 on a scoreboard and sound system for a field that needs $2 million worth of work to make it safe for our athletes. That to me is my priority over this. So I need to back up and ask my questions, I guess, which would be, how does this $439,000 fit into that overall $2 million cost that we received in our packet?
This is an alternative option to the $2 million cost that you received. The $2 million mechanical upgrades related to Memorial Stadium included a scoreboard, a sound system, and lights. I believe the amount allocated in that budget of $2 million for the sound system and lights, and I believe Wi-Fi, was in and around $650,000 prior to any of the soft costs associated with design or bidding and construction management. In speaking with our design team, for us to, again, if a bidding project would require us to approve the budget, first of all, design the project itself, advertise for 3 weeks, open bids, come back and award. If we wanted this solution, this scoreboard solution for the start of the fall sports season, that wouldn't be able to be targeted. Most likely you're looking at summer of 2025. So what we're exploring is a cooperative, or two different cooperative purchasing options through highly regarded industry-leading companies familiar with high school and college athletics. That would, with approval this evening, potentially allow us to have this most likely allow us to have it up and running for the start of the fall year. There are obviously some concerns with the current scoreboard and sound system. We've been having challenges with that our maintenance and IT staff have been able to mitigate the best that they possibly can. But I think what we were trying to avoid was similar to what we dealt with the lights this past year, where we had to kind of in an emergency manner, fix some ballast on the lights, because we were afraid that if a weather event occurred on a Friday evening, we wouldn't have lights for the football game. In relation to the turf itself, I did speak with Ethan, and again, that's targeting to be about a September of 2024 bid authorization by the board, commencing design, going out to bid later in the year, and awarding for this install sometime after the spring sports season and before the start of the fall sports season in 2025. In the meantime, Mr. Gentileza has contacted a company that specializes in turf, I don't want to call it restoration, but repair, management and maintenance that could come in and do the work to bridge that year gap and make it obviously a sound and safe turf system that would be tested by the professionals to make sure that it meets those GMAX standards that we were informed about at our last meeting.
So they will actually be able to give us an actual grade of where we are too. Once they treat the field, they'll actually be able to give us a grade, because potentially they could come back and say, with this treatment, you are still 2 years out. I was looking for an additional reference. We had spoke about that, where I wanted someone else to come in and give us a view and tell us where the field quality actually is at this point.
The field does get evaluated. Right now, we are in partnership with Lackawanna that does a deluxe treatment every month. And that deluxe treatment also does a yearly GMAX reading on the turf on the turf fill, which are those rubber pellets. And obviously the areas that I'm going to say between the hash marks that are more popular, they're probably a little bit more thin than compared to maybe the corner of the end zone, which isn't used too much.
Right.
So therefore, they will get a reading, and 2 years ago in 2022, the reading was low in some spots, and when they came to do the treatment, they had a truckload of fill for the field, and it made our GMAX readings last year up to par. Now we have to get them this year, which we're expecting it to be a little bit low. So what we are looking to do is have the infield fill for the entire field, just not the spots, not the sore spots, but the entire field. And we have an estimate on that just to bridge the gap until we do the entire turf replacement for the fall of 2025.
So whose recommendation are we going off of to replace it? Theirs or Dewey's? Whose recommendation are we using? Because right now it sounds like I'm hearing two different recommendations to replace the field in 2025. So I want to know who is actually recommending this.
Just to, I think it's, because I remember getting this a couple years ago, just to confirm, Dewey's not doing these tests, right? It's a third party who's grading the field.
Keystone Sport is.
Right, right.
Keystone Sport.
Got it.
Okay, so they're the ones
Yeah.
recommending replaces, okay. Just wanted to make sure.
So I guess where my confusion comes into play is, why is this in front of the board now, the stadium scoreboard, before the safety measures for the turf? To me, I think we're putting the cart before the horse. I'd rather see our field prepared and safe before we put up a new scoreboard or sound system or anything that, you know, if it was determined when the field was evaluated that we needed to do any kind of major work, I'm hesitant to spend $439,000 at this point. I'd rather have the field come to us, get that taken care of, then we look at the scoreboard and the sound system.
You know, the field, right now, to do the G-Max, to get it up to par is in anywhere from between 18,000 and 26,000.
And Director Yanni, the intention was to bring that to the board for the May meeting. We just received those quotes, I don't know, a week and a half ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we are gonna reach out to see if Lackawanna will partner with us in sharing in that cost, correct?
We're gonna ask, yes.
Okay.
And did we do that with the scoreboard and the sound system there? Did we?
No, but the scoreboard has marketing possibilities that we can approach, probably many, vendors, but we can certainly.
Yeah,
So-
I'd like to make a motion to table this until we hear back about the field, and that's only in May. And then after we align that, we know what we're gonna do with the field, then we can circle back to this. So I'd like to make that motion to table.
Why can't we do both? I'm not, why
Right,
can't we look at the
also
field?
have it, yeah.
Why can't we look at the field, but also, why can't we just vote on this now? I mean, they're both gonna need to get done, right?
I like that idea.
But my thought process is if something is going on with that field, because I've been hearing about it for a couple of years, what if this company came in and said, you know what, you need to replace the turf now? Like, we can't just add filler to it. And then we've gone ahead with this. I just think, you know, $439,000 is a lot of money to spend when we don't know for sure, because we haven't had that determined, that just putting fill in there is gonna work. That's my thought process.
How long would it take to replace the whole turf if we had to?
If you start right after track season, you'll be pushing when it's time for doubles sessions to start in mid-August.
So we'd have to shut down the field for a while.
And if we don't have a functioning sound system, wouldn't that potentially affect our ability to host certain events?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'd like to
And we
second
do have
Mrs.
high level,
Yanni's
we do
motion.
have high-level end-of-the-year track events that we do host.
Well, currently, we have a motion to table the motion, so roll call.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Merkel?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
No.
Mrs. Yanni?
Yes.
Mr. Borthwick?
No.
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mrs. Chesak?
No.
Mr. Holmes?
No.
5 affirmative, 4 negative, motion passes.
And Brett, just again, reminder, you will bring that to us for the May meeting?
Yes.
And approximately, how long does that take when they do treat it, when that is approved? If that's approved, how long would it take for them to come here and treat the field?
The fill?
Yes.
1 day.
1 day?
1 day.
Okay. Okay, personnel?
All right, we have F1, motion to approve personnel report as attached. All hires are contingent upon all background checks and clearances.
May I have a second?
Second.
On the question? Roll call?
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. Merkel?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mrs. Yanni?
Yes.
Mr. Borthwick?
Yes.
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mrs. Chesak?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
9 affirmative.
Vendor relations?
Oh, we got one more, I
Oh,
got
sorry.
the one I had. So we have F2, make a motion to approve the board affirmation statement for the position vacancy of acting superintendent effective April 8th, 2024.
Second.
Pat,
On the
you sure-
question?
Pat, you sure you want us to vote on this?
Quickly, right?
I'm gonna, on the question, I'm gonna go ahead and vote no, just as a ceremonial thanks. And, Dr. Keating, we welcome you.
I
But
got a little nervous there because they replaced me in Old Forge, so I was trying to figure out what I was doing.
But Pat, again, as I said earlier, thank you for all that you did. We truly were blessed and honored to have you here, and again, thank you for everything.
Yeah, I second that. Pat, you were great. You always step up to the plate. You're a good man, and thanks for all your hard work. We appreciate it.
You know, I have to sign this.
Yeah, I know.
Careful. Anyone else? Roll call.
Ms. Merkel?
Yes.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mrs. Yanni?
Yes.
Mr. Borthwick?
Yes.
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mrs. Chesak?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Goodmartin?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Thank you, and yes.
9 affirmative.
All right. Gender relations.
Agenda item I-1, we'll have a motion to approve the engagement and statement of work provided by Mullen Coughlin LLC and their third-party forensic investigative team. Scope of work and terms of the engagement were previously provided to the board for review.
On the question? Roll call.
Mr. McAndrew?
Yes.
Mrs. Yanni?
Yes.
Mr. Borthwick?
Yes.
Mr. Casey?
Yes.
Mrs. Chesak?
Yes.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Goodmartin?
Yes.
Ms. Merkel?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
9 affirmative.
New business. New business, or did I forget something?
No, we do have some new business. Maybe you were going to share it, but I'm going to jump right in.
I did not.
We had a lot of sad news to share this evening, but we do have some happy news. Director Fox is with us over the telephone this evening because she welcomed Isabel Cynthia to the world just a few days ago. So congratulations. She's beautiful. We love her already.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Catherine.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I got some hand-me-down clothes.
Anyone else? All right, well, quickly under the President's report, not going into too much detail, I want to say thank you to our professionals, everyone in the schools, our essential administrators, teachers, paraprofessionals, security personnel, lunch people, principals, everybody who, through all the adversity we are currently facing, have continued to educate our children, have continued to keep them safe, feed them, and it's amazing the resilience in the school district, and I don't think often enough we say, thank you, well done. It is truly impressive to watch all of you work, and I am so proud to be a part of this district, and again, thank you very much for all that you have all done. It's amazing. With that, is anyone else? Executive session right after this for 5 minutes. Motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
Oh, no, she's definitely.